How's it going, everyone? This is Hayden from hhwcustoms.com, and today I'm going to be showing you how I paint the roof racks I made. This is the roof rack that I made for the Land Cruiser, and I thought it would be good to do a tutorial on how I paint them and the steps I follow and the paints I use. I know a lot of people are interested in that, so I figured I'd give it a go. So first, what I do is, this is the unpainted version. If you order on my website, this is what you will get in the mail, and I just use this. This is just quick color. It's matte black. It's like $1 or $1.89 or something like that from Home Depot. It's what I use to primer literally everything that I do. It's some of the best paint. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and paint this black, and I'll be right back. And here we go. So now it's all black. We have it all nice and painted, and all the details should be there. Are a little bit more shown now that you can see the contrast and all the different angles, stuff like that. Like before, you couldn't even see the straps that are on this chest or box rack here. So we're gonna go ahead and start painting. So what I like to do first, usually I think, would be cover the smaller areas first. That way, when you're holding it, you're not gonna be accidentally touching it. So like for example, this is a tarp. I'm gonna paint it blue later on. But if I'm over there trying to get as much detail and get the right angle to do the gas containers over there, might have my thumb on it. So we're gonna start with the smallest stuff first. So this is what I'm currently using. This is just Angel's Crafts. This is literally stuff I got from the dollar store, and this stuff works pretty well. It's definitely not, amazing, but it does its job. You don't really even need to use a piece of paper. I'm just gonna do it for the video. Usually I just take the cap off and use the cap. Just a tiny bit. You're not using that much paint. So I'll go ahead, and I usually save my toothpicks so you can see there's some paint on them already. Along with on my hands too. I accidentally opened up a bottle the wrong way. But we're just gonna go ahead and get a little dab of paint, nothing crazy, and we're just gonna go ahead and start detailing. Actually, I'm gonna start with this corner one back here. It's so small, it's not gonna be perfect, but just go slow, and it's gonna look good. I'm no painting expert, but I do enjoy the little details in these builds. So I got some on the actual edge right there, you can see. So before it sets, I like to just scrape it away. Using a clean side, and there you go. Now it's gone. And so, like I was saying with the details, you can see this angle at the top. You can see just like what the handle would be. Where the handle would be. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint that. And go along, just get a tiny bit more, and do this edge too. All right, now I got that one done for the most part. I did manage to hit the floor on accident, but that's all right. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. So it'll be the same process, just a tiny bit of paint, and just go along. I do want to try and leave the little handle. You can tell there's an indent there. I'm gonna try and leave that little detail there because that one's a little more exposed. But I usually end up accidentally painting over it, but it is a nice detail when you don't. Now I do find that using a paintbrush tends to be a lot easier for getting in these smaller bits and avoiding these patches where you need to dab constantly. But I've never been a fan of paintbrushes. It's always bad results, and I really hate the streaking or the brush strokes. I hate the brush strokes that you get when you work on bigger canvases, and I just learned to avoid that all in general by just using another tool here. So you can see the tolerances between the tarp and the gas can are really tight, so I'm just going to try and barely get in there. It's eventually going to get hit, which I don't really want, but I'm going to try my best just to get that little curve. And yeah, see, I got the tarp. So I'm going to try and get rid of that using the technique I said earlier, which is just scraping it away. What you want to do pretty much, because it's a black base, is it'll get the paint very, very thin, the red, and it'll kind of just start blending into the black because it'll be so thin. And you can see there, it's still there a little bit, but it's definitely not noticeable compared to if I just left it. So there you go, that's the red. That's the two cans done. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually use this apple barrel blue. It just looks very nice, and I thought it would look really good for a sleeping bag. This is also super runny. I don't know how long this has been not used. It was super runny, the container. Oh, now it came out perfect. You can see it's also kind of stringy. But you just need a little bit. Just try and avoid that piece. For this one, I think I actually might try and use a paintbrush here. I think that might be the move because I need to get in between the chest and the tarp there. Now, luckily, I did find a dollar store paintbrush that I'm going to use. There's definitely better stuff out there, but we're working with what we got. We don't need a perfection for something like this. Just for fun. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply a small amount, and I'm just going to start brushing it on real easy. This is going to help me, hopefully, get in between the little edges here without making too much of a mess. Just get around the corner there. And then finally we'll do the front side. This is definitely not the blue that I would like to get, but looks good enough. I'm gonna have to lay it on a little thick because this is really runny. You can just see straight black, which is not what I wanted. And there you go. That's good for now. That's decent enough. Now for the chest in the back, I'm going to be using this marsh green. I was debating between doing a brown with green straps or a green with brown straps, and I kind of want to see this green pop a bit more. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply just a small amount. This one's really runny. You can see it's just not even pressing the bottle, it's just falling out. So that's all right with me. I'm actually going to reuse that same paintbrush. You see I wiped it away. There's not really much blue coming off, and if it does, it's probably going to get barely tinted, so this might look a little weird, but it's all right. I'm trying to avoid the spots that the straps are going to hit. That way I can paint them immediately rather than waiting for it to dry, but in the process I believe I'm messing some stuff up. See, this is the beauty with paintbrushes though, that I do really like, is that I can get in between all these little areas here without making too much of a mess. I definitely did make a mess, but it's not the end of the world. And all right. Now, it's not perfect, but it definitely does do the job for me. So I'm going to scrape this away because I probably will reuse this again. So now I'm going to do the brown straps. This is just the paint I use. Also, this is just Angel's Craft again, dollar store stuff. You can tell I use it quite a bit. Yeah, just again, you gotta want just a tiny bit. This is just the straps. And I'll call that done. It's by no means perfect, but I like it. Now for the last little bit, which is the tarp, I actually use this Posca marker. I find that the blue dries matte and it looks really nice. So hopefully there's enough ink in here. And with this, it's like a rattle can kind of thing, or the marble. So I usually just press on this and try and get enough other paint to come out that I can just scoop it up. I don't think there's gonna be enough here, so I'm gonna actually do something I don't usually do. I'm going to try and actually just draw it on using the marker itself, and I could cover the rest with whatever comes out. So it's going to go ahead and apply. I'm also not putting any pressure on this. I'm just kind of letting it do its own thing. This does run really thick if you keep pressing on like I did, so I'm scared that it's just going to come out all at once. And I'll do the rest with a toothpick. Okay, so now, before this all dries, I'll use this one. Just kind of smearing it everywhere in the little cracks I couldn't get with the marker. Now you will see when this is dry, this does hopefully, or this hopefully will look different than the sleeping bag. That is not what I want it to look. I did not want it to look the same, and right now it's kind of looking the same. All right, and I do believe I am done here. I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit, and I'll come back to you guys and show you the final result when it is done drying, and hopefully the colors have settled a bit and there's not so much of a glossy effect. All right, guys, and we are back, and this is the final result. This is been drying for maybe about 5 minutes or so, and I feel like it's pretty much done. The brown is laid on a little thick, but I think that's all right. I think this looks amazing. I do like that green. That green is very, very nice. It gives a little more of a military look, and I do really like that. I was thinking about using that on actually another build. So, but this is what it looks like on a car. I have the Land Cruiser right here. That way you guys can see both the paint job and how it fits on the Land Cruiser all at once. And so this is the side profile here. And yeah, I'd say it looks pretty good. I'm not going to glue it on, but I'd say it looks pretty good there, matching with that gray. So I can zoom in and show you more detail. Yeah, I mean, the colors, I definitely could have got more coverage on it, but I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't have my glasses on. I'm looking at the screen, and it's looking pretty nice to me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is a comparison of the two from start to finish. This is gray raw resin to a nice black primer detailed one that could look good on pretty much any kind of car. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks into painting these little things. I know it can be very frustrating because of how small it is. If you have bad eyes, get a magnifying glass or get some glasses from your local Walmart or Home Depot or something like that. And this will definitely add some quality to your builds when you are trying to sell them, or just if you want to keep your customs in general. It definitely adds a little bit of detail there that other people don't always do, and it really does make the difference. If you guys want your own roof rack, you guys can get them on my website, hhwcustoms.com, and the link will also be in the description below. I'm always adding a lot of new 3D parts on there, a lot of new decals and wheels. So if you're in the market for anything 1/64 scale, go ahead and check it out. It's hhwcustoms.com. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.